The seventh sign before Christmas that the true Lord said to me.
Don't take this personally, but...
Oh, please.
No, I mean it. You're one of the worst singers I've ever heard in my life.
Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and the carbon credits forming a one world economy. So we see countries everywhere right now preparing for a switch to the central bank digital currencies. We're seeing them everywhere. Turkey, Nigeria, Sri Lanka, the United States, Canada, all of Europe, all these different places, they are preparing for the central bank digital currency. We're seeing them run tests. I think it's Thailand. That, I mean, they're ready to go. And then I think Turkey is, they confirmed they're going to launch their central bank digital currency next year. And I think there's like a handful of other countries that said they've already announced that they will launch it next year. We're seeing places like Nigeria. The question is, how are they going to get everybody to switch over? We see that Nigeria is holding withdrawals of cash, physical money, to $45 a day. So they're restricting. We're seeing the same thing happen in Israel. Israel is doing the same thing. What was it? We're also seeing things like how are they going to get people to spend this because they don't want people saving it. Well, we're also seeing like the digital yuan is going to have an exploratory date, an expiration date, however you want to pronounce that, put it, where you have to spend it by a certain time, otherwise it disappears. We've also seen the testing of the UBI system. When the lockdowns happened and all those stimulus checks started happening, that was a testing of the UBI system. You notice how nobody actually got physical checks. It was all just put into your account digitally. They are testing a UBI system. We're also seeing little other tests all over the place about it as well. The UK is doing it, and a whole bunch of other places. The big one that I'm really caught up on, that I talk about a lot, is the carbon credit system, because everybody wants to talk about how the one world currency could be one central bank digital currency, like a beast coin, which it could be. I'm not saying it's not. But I want to offer up the idea of the carbon credit system being that one world currency, because you can have 500 different central bank digital currencies, but if it all runs through a carbon credit system, it's technically one currency at that point, because it all runs through the carbon credit. And if you don't have enough carbon credit, you can't buy or sell. We've seen things like the UK testing this, where they have reward systems for using sustainable transportation, and they reward you and stuff. It's all about carbon credit. The buy and sell, you can buy and sell credits. They've talked about this. I think it's the lady from Rabo Carbon Bank. I can't remember her name exactly, but she talked about how if you're poor and you need more money, you can sell carbon credits to somebody and they can give you money that way, even though she never said, well, if you don't have enough carbon credits, you can't buy something. Either way, you can buy and sell the carbon credits as well. They've already confirmed that. I've talked about a couple times how Ireland is already putting out restaurant menus where there's the regular price, and then next to that is the carbon price. And so they've already got restaurant menus that are putting in the carbon credits on that. And then something that was just announced, I am definitely going to talk about this next week, is the EU has introduced the personal carbon system. They are now going to force people in the EU to purchase their carbon. You're going to have to purchase your carbon. This is about getting people to spend less. And they're going to force people to purchase their carbon. I'll talk about that next week. I'm definitely getting more information on that. But they are doing it. They are doing it. So we're seeing that come about as well. Okay. On the eighth sign before Christmas that the true Lord said to me, transhumanism by melding man and machine. We are seeing the push for transhumanism. Now, everybody is talking about, at least those who are paying attention, about Musk's Neuralink program. Yes, definitely very bad. Definitely somebody to pay attention to. But there are a couple of other ones that are not necessarily being discussed or talked about. I've talked about them a couple times, but the often forgotten Synchron. Synchron is actually further along than Neuralink. They're already testing on humans. Now we know Neuralink, they've kind of run into some trouble with animal practices. And then they're trying to get approved for humans. But Synchron is already putting him in humans. They're already testing on humans. And this is very important to pay attention to Synchron because, one, they just got a big boost of funding by both Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates have both put in money. They both started funding Synchron. Also, Synchron has received funding from DARPA and the Department of Defense. I'm getting some information on DARPA. I found some very interesting things as far as this goes. I'll talk about that next week as well. But Synchron now has funding from DARPA, the Department of Defense, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates. So, and of course, they're already testing on humans now. So Synchron is definitely somebody to pay attention to as far as this transhuman thing goes. It's same thing. It's about getting into the brain, and we know what they're going to be doing when they get in there. Another one, though, that people don't really necessarily know about is Blackrock NeuroTech. Blackrock NeuroTech is also testing on humans. So just like Synchron, they're already in the human trial phase. Now, Blackrock NeuroTech is being funded by Peter Thiel. I've talked about Peter Thiel a couple times. Something to know about Peter Thiel is he and Musk were both a part of the founders group for PayPal. So Peter Thiel is buddy-buddy with Musk, and they're both working on separate neurological brain chip type stuff. So these are three of them. These are three. Neuralink, Synchron, Blackrock NeuroTech. Two of which are already on human trials. This is some huge stuff going as far as the push for transhumanism. There's a lot more on that for sure, but getting into the brain is interesting. And like I said, I've got some very interesting stuff on DARPA I'll talk about next week. So that's number 8.